Is nuclear unclear?
The decisions have been made.
Somebody has somewhere got to say enough is enough. You do it or you don't.
By the way, I've been waiting for that investment decision since mid-2008.
And then nothing happens.
Number of people killed, 0.
Nuclear energy is a very clear choice.
Number of people harmed, 0.
We are actually much better than we give ourselves credit for.
And I know that we think they're absolutely nuts and crazy and doing such a bad job.
It's healthy debate that is overdue.
But I can tell you they're doing a damn good job.
We are not behind in nuclear energy. There's a great potential to further harness nuclear energy.
We need action.
Good morning. We're meeting again. Many of the South Africans that are here, you are aware of the outlook of nuclear in South Africa. You certainly are aware that there are 437 nuclear power reactors operational in the world.
Nuclear energy is one of those clean forms of energy, utilized with the requisite safety measures. We've got regulators in this country. There's a great potential to further harness nuclear energy.
It is one of the sources of power. Of course, in any electrical grid, you're going to want baseload power and you're going to want peaking power because people use their appliances at different times of the day. They need their air conditioning at different times of the day. They're doing their cooking and so forth.
Provides all the benefits of renewables and coal-fired power all in one package.
It is most efficient when you run the plants 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
It is something that we see has a future in South Africa if we are looking at securing the energy supplies in South Africa. If we are looking at the rollout of an electric car industry in this country, it's not going to make any environmental sense to start running those type of industries on coal-fired power.
This is a great source of carbon-free electricity.
We are the third biggest producer in the world of the medical radioisotopes which are used for the diagnosis of cancer. So we export this to over 50,000 countries around the world in different regions of the world. So this is one of the examples of nuclear techniques. So when somebody is in hospital and they are being diagnosed for cancer, sometimes they are not aware that actually this is nuclear techniques, nuclear technology that is being used.
So we start from there, you look at the benefits from there, and then when you move out of it, and also you look into other applications, which is your industrial application, your agricultural application, which is now, if you look at the climate change and the global conditions, I mean, nowadays we are moving away from pesticide control of in order to preserve your fruits, your vegetables. Now moving into a more safer mode, which is radiation application.
We are not behind in nuclear energy. We have Quebec power station nuclear power station in Cape Town. The Quebec nuclear power station is generating 4,000 megawatts, and it was originally planned to generate 6,000 megawatts. That's an expression of confidence in our country to go nuclear. This conference in particular is therefore timely, as it allows stakeholders to engage substantively in regard to the opportunities that will come with the rollout of the nuclear program.
Nuclear industry requires people you can trust, people you can rely on, people who have integrity, okay? People who are reliable and responsible.
South Africa was ready before I got into nuclear because South Africa has had nuclear energy for many decades. I think the question we want to look at is it ready for expansion? But in terms of nuclear energy, we've had nuclear energy. We've got a Quebec power plant. We've got the research reactors here at Nexa.
Remember that at the earliest days that you're talking about, it was a very new technology, newly discovered, newly invented, and it is a complex technology. There's a lot of moving parts in a nuclear power plant, and so and we always have to make sure we keep safety considerations paramount.
Nuclear power, it's safe, it's clean, it's economic. We can go with it now, power the whole world with the nuclear power, but the big problem is public perceptions and this very one that you've mentioned now, this fear of it, which of course the anti-nuclear groups exploit this fear in a very shameless way.
The first news of nuclear technology was the dropping of the bombs in Japan in the Second World War. And so in the human mind, there's this thing which is dangerous, but you can't feel it and see it. And then there's the association with war. And I think those two things coming together cause people to inflate the risk in their minds.
So the world's introduction to nuclear fission was two terrible bombs at the end of the Second World War in Hiroshima and Nagasaki that killed 200,000 people in terrible circumstances. Most horrible deaths, mainly by the heat. They were roasted to death or worse, not quite roasted to death. So that was even more terrible for those people. So I think when people think of nuclear power, they think of nuclear weapons, and especially what happened in Japan. I think that's possibly the fear. Of course, a nuclear power reactor is completely different from a nuclear bomb. It's totally impossible for it to explode like a nuclear bomb. It just cannot happen by simple physics. Table Mountain contains plenty of uranium. What are the chances of Table Mountain exploding like a nuclear bomb? Zero. It can't happen.
Is nuclear unclear? And my answer is no, but the nuclear industry is unclear. And that's basically the argument I'm saying. What do I mean when I say the nuclear industry is unclear? Then you've got to get a whole book for that. Basically, is to say, firstly, the language that we use to present the benefit of nuclear is unclear to some various sectors of the public.
It's like a nuclear plant costs about twice what a coal plant costs, but then it lasts a lot longer. It lasts about 60 years, where a coal plant will last between 40 and 50 years.
And if you consider the fact that as a country we have not built any new nuclear power stations since the build program of the 2 Koeberg units in the 1980s. Some of the people involved in the room, even myself, I wasn't part of that. So I am seen as young in the nuclear sector, and you have a lot of those guys. And then you have the other side, the guys that saw the building of the current facilities that we have, and many of them have retired. So now you need to bridge that divide.
The one thing that we would not like to see is that the skills that are currently being built at Medupi and Kusile, and those are all relevant craft and site skills and construction skills, that we miss the deadline of implementing a nuclear program when those skills are starting to go down and Medupi and Kusile is completed.
The main issue that President Jacob Zuma has encouraged us is that all departments are to stretch their skills development targets and also the job creation potential. So when we are here with all the energy role players, in this particular instance, experts, professionals in the nuclear sector, they are here to share with Greater South Africa the potential that nuclear energy has for South Africa.
What we need to do now is to do more talking and interacting on smaller levels than the entire conference, like one-day interactions, half-day interactions between selected groups. Because what we have found is that the levels, for example, of the universities, they've told us what they can do. They can look right at the level of atoms. We then hear the big companies that can manufacture the big components that need to interact with them. And then government needs to know what there is already in South Africa and therefore where to go and put their support so that we can get moving.
And as we talk with action plans, with roadmaps, we'll start jogging each other's memories, getting each other's confidence up in terms of doing this work.
We've been getting ready for a number of years now, and we're very pleased that the Minister today made some strong statements, stronger than have been made before, that we haven't wasted our time and our resources, and that's very pleasing to those of us who heard him speak today.
But I believe this is the time that we have to focus on this, make people aware that there are so many benefits that can be derived from nuclear technology.
I'm a campaigner. I want to toy around this issue and say, let's continue, let's do it differently from this conference onwards.
I wish you all success in your deliberations, and I look forward to studying the outcomes of this particular conference.